Well, hello everyone. Ogre27 Kane here today, and I want to do a review of Moonscars for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do an overview, find out what this game is all about. Well, this game is a 2D take on Dark Souls essentially. It's very akin to something like Death's Gambit, or if you're familiar with Blasphemous, which I reviewed previously on my channel. This game, in my opinion, is a little funner than both of those, and I really speak highly of Death's Gambit. So this game is a 2D Metroidvania, if you will, that has a really unique and fun art style. It does not have a double jump, and if you know me, that's kind of bothersome, but thankfully there's not a lot of stupid pits to fall into and things to kill you for that. You do get a double dash, and you can chain that together with your attack to allow you for some pretty fun and unique traversal. But the game does its best to try to give you all of the tools you need to do the job right and find everything in a pretty fun and unique way. It's a cool little twist, and it's a very high quality version of this kind of game. With that out of the way, let's jump into the first category, the gameplay. Well, as to reiterate, this game is a 2D Dark Souls Metroidvania, and the gameplay in this reflects that completely. There is a certain amount of freedom to the game. It does allow you to do a certain level of exploration, and when you get good at its traversal, it does allow you to break the game, if you will, too. But the game kind of pushes you down a very direct path and wants you to get very specific things in order to see it progress in the proper order in which everything is displayed. These aren't bad things whatsoever, and the game really pushes you to play it through once before you take advantage of these things. But you do need to be aware that this game is somewhat linear at first. Now, very much like Dark Souls, this game has currency systems, and if you die, you lose the currency and you have to go back to where you died to pick it up. This usually isn't too bad, and it didn't bother me that much, but it can be a little bothersome if you lose a lot of money and you get kind of sweaty trying to find it. I guess it's just one of the fun parts, one of the fun aspects to this game. The unique thing about this, though, is that you do not use these currencies to level up. You don't really level up at all in this game. You use the currencies to buy new talismans and buy new abilities. If you want to increase your health or increase your magic, you need to find permanent upgrades in the world that are hidden. Now, this makes it a little closer to something like Super Metroid, but it encourages exploration, and a lot of the things that you find, a lot of the secrets, are easy enough to find. They're telegraphed well. So let's move on to the next category, the story. Well, the story in this game has you as a character named Grey Irma. You're going around trying to figure out why you're a clay being and you're filled with ichor, essentially magic essence, and who you're supposed to be helping out. Now, your perception is that you're trying to find this guy named the Sculptor and what he knows about everything. But the game has its own twists and turns, and the story is fairly intriguing on its own. Obviously, not everything is as it seems, and some of the cooler elements are based in these story elements. It's not necessarily the highlight of the game. I really consider that to be the combat, but the story is fun enough, and it does keep things rolling along in a very swift way. Now, one thing I do have to mention is that this game is not voice acted. There is a lot of reading, and this game is pretty heavy on the dialogue when it's trying to explain things. It isn't the best way to interpret the story, and obviously it leaves a lot of things open-ended. I think they're going for the Dark Souls aesthetic, but it's not the best in my opinion. So let's move on now to the controls and audio. Well, first up, we're going to start with the audio, and I'm going to show a little sample of it because it's got some excellent ambiance to it, and the music is good and matches everything going on. So here we go. Pretty excellent if you ask me. Not much more I can say about it. I have a pretty high opinion. Let's talk about the controls real quick. If you're familiar with any Dark Souls game and any Metroidvania game, these will fit in very well with you, and they are very tight. I absolutely love the controls in this game, and I can't speak highly enough about them. They're a little odd at first, a little difficult, but they're definitely good. So let's move on to graphics and animations now. Well, I know this category might be a little contentious to some people because it kinda has a dark and drab art style. But the 2D aesthetic to it really lends itself well, and the game has an amazing animation quality. All of the characters and all the enemies that you see in this game have a lot of high quality animations to them and a lot of movement to them. The world itself is beautiful and the aesthetic goes along with it. Everything matches really well. Now, it's not necessarily the most massive world, but the world itself is very well done. And I don't really care for a lot of filler if it's ugly or not well done. And this game doesn't really have anything that I would consider filler. Most everything in this game feels relevant to what you're doing. That's another highlight to it, and it speaks to how well everything fits together. Between the story, the graphics and animation, the combat, and the gameplay, all the mechanics work well. And that fits into the category of performance. The performance on this game is pretty good. There's the occasional frame rate hiccup and the occasional stutter. I think you may have seen one earlier in this video. But they do not happen very often, and I did not have this game crash on me, not after the most current update. So let's move on to combat now. So this game has a really fun combat system in my opinion. It has a ton of weight to it, and all of your moves have a good impact. You have your normal attack, you have a special move, which you can gain and upgrade and find different ones as you play throughout the game. It has its own mechanic and you lose it when you die or find a new mirror, but they're not really hard to get back and you can change them pretty much on a whim whenever you want to, especially late in the game. On top of that, this game also has a pretty fun and unique magic system. You can attach them to each trigger, and you can use each spell as you gain these I-core through attacking enemies. The cool thing is, your heal spell is attached to this too. So as long as you keep being aggressive and attacking, you'll always have enough stuff to heal. And I really like this reward system because it doesn't put you into a bottleneck like the Estus flasks do. This allows you to be really aggressive and continue playing through the game even if you know you're not near a save. And that makes the combat really engaging in my opinion. Really the only downside I can speak about to this is when you do have too many enemies going on the screen and one has the ability to parry and one has the ability to dodge. You have to make decisions that can really affect you, and if you're not close to a save, it can get a little annoying. But, like I said, none of these were outrageous or bothered me in any way or stopped my fun or joy with the combat system in this. So let's move on now and do the last, conclusion. So in conclusion, I know a lot of people consider this game to be pretty difficult. Because of the way the heal system works and because of my playstyle being extremely aggressive, it doesn't bother me, and I actually consider this game easier than a lot of these Dark Souls clones. A lot of the funnest aspects to me are hidden in the quick-paced combat and fast engagement. I know some people more or less like the exploration or some other aspects to it, but this game to me thrives on what they're trying to achieve with it. With that being said though, the exploration in this game is still very much top-notch. There's a secret in every nook and cranny of this game and crevice. There's all kinds of different doors and obstacles to overcome. There are not only hidden walls to the sides of you, but there are also vertically and underneath you. There were a lot of cool times that I found an enemy drop down and figured out there was a secret there above that. I love these little exploration aspects and the combat feeds in well. So if you need a good Dark Souls clone, I really can't recommend a better one to you right now. And I'm super happy I picked this up. It was dirt cheap. I think I paid $35. Well, thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre27 Kane signing out.